Your vulnerability scanner just published malware. Your credential rotation finished too late. Your CI/CD pipeline auto-updated itself into a backdoor. One threat actor, 5 ecosystems, 10 days, and a supply chain worm that completes a full compromise cycle in under 60 seconds.
Context Window. Your weekly window into everything. AI security.
Welcome to Context Window, your weekly window into everything worth knowing in AI security. Quick transparency note before we start. This podcast is AI generated. 2 AI voices, a script written by another AI agent, the whole production chain. But every story, every take, every claim is curated and verified by Asaf Nakash. He builds AI security products at one of the world's largest security platforms. The robots do the talking, but a human who lives this stuff makes sure we're not hallucinating.
We're covering an attack where security scanners became malware distribution channels. If we start recommending you uninstall all your security tools, definitely let Asaf know.
Big news! Context Window is now live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and everywhere you get your podcasts. If you're hearing us for the first time, welcome. Hit subscribe. Here's the week. The biggest AI supply chain attack in history, RSA Conference dropped some bombs, and Claude had a very bad week.
Hold on. The supply chain thing. Are we talking about Trivy? The scanner that half the industry runs in CI/CD?
Trivy, Checkmarx KICS, LiteLLM, Telnyx, all of them. One campaign, let's get into it. TeamPCP. That's the threat actor. Over 10 days in March, they ran a supply chain campaign that hit 5 different software ecosystems: PyPI, NPM, GitHub Actions, VS Code extensions, and Kubernetes, each compromise feeding the next. I want to walk through the chain because the sequencing is what makes this unprecedented. March 19th. Attackers use compromised credentials to publish a malicious release of Trivy. For anyone who doesn't know it, Trivy is Aqua Security's open source vulnerability scanner, one of the most widely used security tools in DevOps. They force pushed 76 of 77 version tags in the official GitHub action, so any CI/CD pipeline pulling Trivy got redirected to attacker code.
76 out of 77 tags. Basically every version anyone would pin to.
Day 2, March 20th, stolen credentials from Trivy users feed a tool called CanisterWorm. Automated NPM worm. It steals authentication tokens, figures out which packages the developer can publish, bumps the version number, and pushes a backdoored copy, full cycle, under 60 seconds per NPM scope, 46 scopes hit.
That's not a person at a keyboard. That's infrastructure.
March 22nd. WAV is steganography. They start hiding command and control payloads inside audio files, valid WAV files, MIME type checks pass, antivirus passes. The payload is embedded in the audio data itself.
Steganography, for the unfamiliar, is hiding data inside other data, usually images, but here it's audio files. The file plays as a normal WAV. It also carries encrypted instructions for the malware.
March 23rd, Checkmarx KICS, another security scanning tool, gets hit. 2 OpenVSX extensions compromised. Kubernetes persistence through privileged pods. Then, March 24th, LiteLLM. This is the one that should keep people up at night. LiteLLM is a centralized gateway for large language model APIs. 95 million downloads a month. It stores credentials for OpenAI, Anthropic, AWS Bedrock, and GCP Vertex AI. Basically a master key to an organization's entire AI stack.
And how did LiteLLM get compromised?
Through its own CI/CD security scan, running an unpinned version of the already compromised Trivy.
The vulnerability scanner was the vulnerability.
And the malicious versions used .pth file injection with AES-256 encrypted exfiltration, sophisticated work. Final hit, March 27th, Telnyx Python SDK on PyPI. Same WAV steganography. By this point, 6 security vendors published independent analyses: Aikido, Aqua Security, Microsoft, Wiz, Step Security, and SNEC. Forbes picked it up. Supply chain security went mainstream in a week.
6 independent vendor analyses of a single campaign. That's unprecedented scrutiny for a supply chain incident. And it happened fast because the attack itself moved fast.
That's the thing. The old model was one compromised package, one ecosystem. Isolated incident. This was orchestrated. Each compromised tool became the entry point for the next. The targets were deliberate. Security tools specifically, because that's where the trusted credentials live.
And the timing. This entire campaign ran during RSA Conference week. 45,000 security professionals in San Francisco, CISOs, incident responders, vendor teams, sitting in keynotes about securing AI agents. While back home, their CI/CD pipelines were pulling compromised Trivy versions.
The industry was debating the theory. TeamPCP was running the practice. Okay, speed round. Lot happened this week beyond TeamPCP. Let's move through it. RSA Conference. The headline is Amazon's Project Metis, autonomous AI security agents that continuously attack and defend cloud environments, self-healing. They generate patches, validate them, deploy them, no human in the loop. CrowdStrike stock dropped 7% in a single session after the announcement. Palo Alto Networks shares fell nearly 29% from quarterly highs.
Hyperscalers shipping autonomous security as a built-in platform feature. Specialized vendors losing market cap in real time.
CrowdStrike counterpunched with Charlotte AI AgentWorks, a no-code platform for building custom security agents on Falcon, deliberately multi-model, and Jordy AI won the Innovation Sandbox. That's the startup competition that previously launched CrowdStrike itself and Phantom. They do AI governance for autonomous agents.
The award for the most promising security startup went to a company governing AI agents. That's a signal about where the risk is heading. All right, I want to take the next one because the attack chain is clean and it illustrates something that keeps coming up. Anthropic's Claude had a rough week. 2 independent research teams found exploitable vulnerability chains, and one of them works against a completely default out-of-the-box Claude session. No integrations, no MCP servers, nothing special.
What's the chain?
Oasis Security called it Claudie Day. 3 vulnerabilities linked together. First, Claude's web interface accepts URL parameters. You can craft a link to Claude.ai with a query and embed invisible HTML tags inside it. That's your prompt injection entry point. Second, once inside the session, the injection leverages Claude's Files API with an attacker-controlled API key to exfiltrate whatever data the user has open. Third, there's an open redirect on Claude.com that lets Google Ads deliver victims straight to the injection URL. Google Ads can target by location, industry, even specific email addresses.
Someone buys a Google ad, targets engineers at a specific company. The ad redirects through Claude's own domain to the injection URL, and the user's session data walks out through the Files API, all invisible to the user.
No pop-ups, no warnings, nothing visible. Separately, Claude's Chrome extension had a zero-click XSS flaw. Any web page could inject prompts silently.
2 teams, same week, both finding exploitable chains. And notice, neither targeted the model itself. Both exploited the web layer, the plumbing around the AI. MCP security research, 3 papers in 1 week, a formal threat model flagging tool poisoning as the top risk. That's malicious instructions baked into tool metadata. Unit 42 found prompt injection vectors through MCP's sampling capability, and OpenGuard tested OpenAI's operator agent. 23% bypass rate, 1 in 4 prompts got through.
1 in 4, on the agent acting autonomously with the user's credentials. Their conclusion: system-level re-engineering, not model-level patches.
AI security.
Time for Curator's Corner. The segment where if you only catch one part of the episode, make it this one. Asaf's thesis this week ties directly to TeamPCP, and he's calling it 0 day to 0 second. The argument is that this campaign broke 3 security reflexes the industry has relied on for decades. First, update to latest became the weapon. The latest version of LiteLLM was the attack. The latest Telnyx SDK was the attack. The muscle memory that's protected organizations for 20 years, pip install upgrade, that became the infection vector. Shops that auto-update dependencies and CI/CD were the first to fall. Second, credential rotation couldn't outrun the worm. Aqua detected the Trivy compromise and rotated credentials. Textbook incident response, but the rotation wasn't atomic. A service account retained access. CanisterWorm completes its full steal enumerate publish cycle in under 60 seconds per scope. Humans rotate in hours. The worm moves in seconds. Third, security tools became the attack surface. The more responsible the organization, the more exposed they were. LiteLLM's own security scan, the thing checking for vulnerabilities, was running the compromised Trivy scanner. The security scan was the vulnerability. The reframe is this: 0 day was always about the gap between disclosure and patch. The assumption was that once a fix exists, defenders win if they move fast enough. AI automated supply chain attacks eliminate that gap. There's no disclosure window. There's no patch race. The attack is the update. Like, the playbook doesn't just fail to keep up. It actively works against you.
Okay, I want to push back on that. What TeamPCP exploited was unpinned dependencies, non-atomic credential rotation, and running scanners without integrity verification. Those aren't broken reflexes. They're reflexes that were never properly implemented.
Fair point, but the thesis isn't that defenses don't exist. It's that the speed changes what's viable. When a worm completes a full cycle in 60 seconds across 46 NPM scopes, the gap between best practice exists, and best practice deployed becomes fatal.
I'll grant you the speed is genuinely new. But the playbook wasn't broken by TeamPCP. The playbook was aspirational for most organizations. What TeamPCP proved is that aspirational isn't survivable anymore.
Aspirational isn't survivable. That's a sharper version of the thesis. The defenses exist. The implementation gap doesn't get to exist anymore.
And circle back to the MCP research. 23% bypass rate on OpenAI's agent. We keep building systems that move fast and securing them with processes that move slow. At some point, that mismatch stops being a gap and starts being a design choice.
That's Context Window for the week of March 30th, 2026. If you're new, welcome. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Full show notes and every source link at contextwindow.com. Stay secure, everyone.
And maybe pin your dependencies this week. Seriously. See you next time.